Hey everyone, Charles here. And first of all, thank you for stopping by my podcast. If this show inspires you, makes you think, or gives you that courage to jump into action, please help by donating to this show. Click the link in the description and donate. Your donation helps us with production and finding great guests moving forward. Thank you and enjoy. Have you ever done something different in life? Things happen in life, but what do you do to get above that? Sometimes things are not going to be the easy road like it always is. This is why you take a step back and you just jump for it. Go for it and jump. I got a guest coming on right now is going to tell you what she went through, how she did it, and how she became the person she is today. So sit back, relax, and let's go.
You know you should be doing something different, right? Hey, I'm talking to you. Do you believe that you have the gift for greatness or have a special talent, but don't have the courage to take that next step? Always wondering how others made it look so easy. Well, welcome to Jump, the show that will bring you special guests just like you and me. How did they get the courage to jump into greatness, doing what they love and living the good life? So get ready to jump with your host, Charles Matthews Jr.
Yes. We're back live. And this is your first time here. Where have you been this whole time? We've been having some great guests on the show. So without further ado, let's welcome our special guest. Let's go. Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Charles?
Man, people don't know what we go through just to get you on this show.
Oh my God, the trials and tribulations.
But it's all good. You're here, and we're happy to have you here. So before we move on, born and raised, where are you from?
From New Orleans, Louisiana. I am a 504 girl, right outside New Orleans. I lived in a very small city called Bridge City.
All right.
And we were 2 blocks from the Mississippi River.
So tell everybody your full name for us.
My full name is Tymika Chambliss Williams.
I know they called you some nicknames growing up. What was the nicknames they called you?
Mika Moo. T. Mickey Moo.
All right, so I don't think I'm gonna go for the Mickey Moo, or I'm gonna go for the other ones. I'll just stick to the T. How's that sound? I'll just stick to T.
Yes.
All right. So what was the little T in you growing up? What did you want to become?
Oh, I wanted to be. Honestly, I wanted to be a superstar. I wanted to own my own company. I wanted to be on television. And then I saw Oprah.
Okay.
I was like, I want to be her. That's the person I want to be. And so growing up, I've always wrote. I wrote my first book at the age of 16. But, back in them days, because I'm in 40, And so...
Hold on, we missed. Sorry, the audio didn't sound good. What happened there? What were you trying to say there?
I'm 33 plus. But back in those days, we didn't really know how to publish books. So I never published a book or anything like that. But it was called Pieces of Me.
Okay.
And I was 16. So yeah.
So growing up, having fun, doing your thing, what changed? What did you see that said, oh, that's it. That's where I'm going. That's my path. That's what I'm walking about.
So, my dad and my mom came to me when I was 18. So at the time, funniest thing, I was actually in college and I was going to school to be an oral surgeon.
Oh, okay.
And I was in dentistry. I loved what I was doing. And I was like, you know what, why not just, go to the extreme? Because for me, it's either we're going to go here or we're going to go there. There's no in between. And my mom and my dad came to us and they was like, we're moving to Memphis. And I was like, what? Why? And my dad's a pastor. And so at the time, he was appointed to a church in the West Memphis, Arkansas area, which is literally across the bridge from Memphis. And so we moved here, relocated, and life took a left turn.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, this was not in my plans at all. But yeah, it was, I think once we moved here, you know, I went through a very tumultuous marriage, had a baby. We were together for 13 years, broke up. I was homeless, no job, no car, you know, on welfare, food stamps, all of that. Moved back in with my parents. And me and my daughter was just living in a little corner room at my parents' house. And one day I woke up, I said, you know what? This is not the life I want for me. And it was at that point, and this might have been like around 2014,
Okay.
15. And I said, I can't do this anymore. And I was like, it's grind time, you know? And from that point, I was like, life has to be different for me. And so, yeah, I made the point that moment. And that's when life changed.
And then you just said, okay, enough's enough. Let's try something different. And roughly, I mean, roughly, how old were you around them times? And you said life's got to change.
30 plus.
Okay. Now, the reason I asked that question, because most people are like, oh, I'm 30 plus and I don't have time to change my life and starting all over from scratch. How'd you feel about that? What was it to start all over?
I didn't have a choice. You know, it was one of the things I always say is that life gives you two choices. You can either fight or you can fold. And I knew the 16-year-old me was not going to allow me to fold. And not only that, but my daughter was 3 years old at the time. And I was like, I don't want her to see me fold. So if I got to fight, scratch, crawl, whatever I need to do to start over, we're going to do it. And she was right there with me the entire time. You know, and but yeah, I was like, it didn't matter how old I was. I'm like, this is not my life that I envisioned, you know, 30 years ago.
So it doesn't make a difference when, where, what, or the age you are. When it's time to do your thing, it's okay to start over. It's okay to move forward, to start over and do new challenges.
Absolutely. You know, life is a cycle of ups and downs. You know, for every high, there's a low. For every low, there's a high. You know, I heard TD Jakes say, the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. And so life is, we're always in transition. And so if you get so comfortable with where you are, then you don't understand the cycle of life. And so for me, it was like, okay, I'm in this valley right now. There's a mountain ahead of me. So I can either choose to find my home here in this valley, or I can lace up my boots, get to going, and get to the top of this mountain. And so that was for me, it was like, it was not an option. You know, failure, people say all the time, don't say failure is not an option. But for me in that moment, failure was not an option. And it didn't matter how low I was. I knew I wasn't going to stay there. That was only a temporary moment for me.
Temporary. And I like how you said that. It's just temporary. Things are going to happen in life. You know, God's going to give you certain pressures and see how you can handle it. But it's how you get over it and move forward. So then what was your big breakthrough? What was that moment? What was that shining light that came through and you were like, all right, let's go?
So I got into theater. Once, you know, I moved to Memphis and I was like, Lord, I just can't do church every day. You know, I was like, it got to be something else out there, Lord, you know. And so I got into theater, community theater, and I found solace there. I found peace there. And it was in that so theater became my therapy during that transitional period. It became a place for me to think, for me to escape everything. And so in 2016, I started writing my own stage play. I didn't know where it was going to go. And I was like, you know, everybody out here writing stage plays, let me, you know, because I've been writing literally since I was 10 years old. So the writing piece was easy. And now that I had already found my place in theater, understanding the formatting of it, the directing side of it, and I've been blessed to have some phenomenal directors. And so I always utilize those as those practices, rehearsals, where I was just mental notes of, oh, they do this, and certain terms that I would, just kind of pick up along the way. And so in 2016, I started writing my own stage play. I found that I was pregnant with my last daughter in June.
Okay.
I had her in February of the very next year. So what happened was I found out I was pregnant with her in June. My grandmother, which was like my second mom, who passed away in November, almost 3 months to the day that my daughter was born. And when she passed, I was like, you know what? She'll never get a chance to see anything I produce.
Right.
And it was in that moment I was like, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it for her. And she's going to be smiling down on me and all of that. And so I had my daughter in February, and I produced my first stage play in October of the same year. So my daughter was 8 months at the time, and she was going to rehearsals with me. Brand new baby going to rehearsals. I mean, I was telling everybody. I had a whole tribe with me. But I realized that, like I said, the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. And so as we're going through these transitional periods, I felt for me that I was already behind the 8 ball. I'm like, I got some catching up to do.
Right.
So it wasn't a moment of, oh, we're going to take a break. Oh, I need to lay down and take a nap. Oh, I need to go and take a vacation. No, I was in grind mode because I knew where I wanted to go. I knew where I needed to be. And I wanted my children to also see, mommy thriving and mommy thriving, and honey, they've been there with me the entire time. And so here we are.
So then there is really no, worry about setback because you're at a certain level. It's all push forward, push forward, push forward.
There was some setbacks.
So let's talk about the setbacks then, because that's what we always talk about. There's always going to be setbacks in life. It's how you step up to the setbacks and jump forward. So give us an example of some of your setbacks.
So when I did my first stage play, what I did not know was how much it was going to cost. It was after we did the budget and everything, it was $13,000 to produce my stage play. Now, mind you, I didn't have no money. I had a job, but I had enough just to pay my bills. And I was like, maybe this is not a good idea. And then I was like, no. When God gives you a vision, He doesn't tell you how it's going to get done. He gives it to you. It's up to you to do your part, and He will do His part. And I was in the bathroom one night, and I just burst out in tears. And I was like, God, I don't think this is going to come together, And I was really at my breaking point. I was like, people aren't selling. Nobody's talking about it. I did this really big push for marketing, and I was like, it's not coming together. And I just heard God very simple say, I didn't ask you how it was going to be done.
Mm-hmm.
I told you to do it. That's all I needed. When I heard that, I was like, right. Okay, let's go. Let's go. So I had multiple setbacks. I had one of my my actress, my lead actress, I ended up having to fire her 3 weeks before the show. Well, she actually quit 3 weeks before the show. I had to bring somebody brand new in to learn the entire show, every single thing within 3 weeks. She came in, did a phenomenal job. We still had other setbacks, people not showing up to rehearsal and everything. Because for me, being in theater, I rehearsed like weeks, 2-3 months. And so now as an independent director and playwright, most people weren't accustomed to the strenuous rehearsal schedule. So I had to adjust things, trying to make sure that people, we ain't even got time to go and all of that.
But at the end
there
of
were a lot of setbacks.
Yeah, but then what I'm listening though, but at the end of the day, the setbacks actually became golden nuggets because your lead that you actually end up having was probably the lead you should have had in the beginning in the first place.
Yes. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
when people think, oh no, you lost the lead and you got a new one, and no, that was probably the one that you should have picked in the beginning to help you grow to get better. So things happen for a reason. Don't look at what's happening. Look at what you just got,
Yes.
And that's the part that we all got to sit back and go, I keep thinking about what happened, but you're not looking at, okay, I just gave you a nugget. Here's the nugget. Move on with the nugget. So understand that things are going to happen in life. How do we jump forward? So I love that right there. All right, let's get to know you a little more. It's time for rapid fire. We're going to throw some questions at you. You got 2 minutes on the clock to answer these questions. You can elaborate, but just remember, there's 2 minutes on the clock and you got to get through all of them. But here's the fun thing about it. You get to choose your own questions. Do you want A, B, C, or D?
Okay. Cool. Let's do it.
Which ones you want? A, B, C, or D?
Let's go with A.
A. All right. 2 minutes starts on the clock when I start the first question. Let's go. What is your favorite drink?
Water.
What are you most productive?
At night.
What inspires you and why?
My daughters, because I want them to see me create something that I can leave a legacy for them.
Summer or winter?
Summer. I'm a Leo.
What's something new happening in your life right now that you're excited about?
I am writing a musical.
What's your favorite number and why?
Favorite number is 8 because that's the day I was born. That's the month I was born in, and it is an infinity symbol.
Favorite cake?
Chocolate.
How do you start your day?
With prayer.
What was your worst subject in school?
Algebra.
What was your best subject in school?
Geometry.
Last two, real quick. What scares you?
Ooh. Failure.
Yeah. What's one thing you would change about yourself?
Nothing.
And describe yourself in 5 words.
Amazing. Beautiful. Chocolate. Melanate. And I'm a mama.
You made it through rapid fire.
Yes.
Let's go. Stay tuned, everybody.
Hey, it's okay if you're driving or too busy to take notes.
Fun.
Charles has your parachute packed with all the info you need to jump into success. Check out the links section for all the tools you need to land safe. Now, let's keep falling with Charles and his special guest.
Yes. We are back live with my special guest. I should say with my fabulous mom chocolate guest.
Yes.
So I've been hearing a lot of stuff about family with you. Family. Tell me the importance of family to you.
Family is, to me, it's the essence of life. It's the blood in my veins. It's the thing that keeps me going. It's the wind beneath the wings. Family is everything. My parents have been married for 46 years. And growing up in a very close-knit family, we were always taught like, okay, it's us against the world, which I don't agree with that, but that's what we were taught. So we're very, very close. And then when I started having my own family, I'm married, and so I told my husband one day, I said, if it ever came down to me having to choose film, theater, writing books, and I will choose my family over anything. So yeah, very important.
All right. So let's dive into something that most people might not know, or you might be telling your story. You kind of had a health scare.
Yes.
Let's dive into that and tell my listeners, in your words, what happened.
Okay, so 2019 October, I was 30 at the time.
We got.
And so I'll say it. I was 39, right? So for benefit purposes, insurance purposes, you don't go and get a breast. What is it? That thing right there until you're 40.
Right.
I was 39, and I was like, yeah, I was doing just a self breast exam. I was like, something didn't really, feel right, and so I was working for FedEx, and so we always have the breast bus that comes by in October. So I went. Everything looked good, and went on with my life. December was like the first week in December. I got a call on my job phone, and the lady said, "Hi." She said, "I'm calling from the breast center. We've been trying to reach you for 2 months." And I'm like, "For 2 months? Like, yeah, why y'all didn't, call me earlier?" Well, anyway, she said, "We found something on your exam. We want you to come in for a biopsy." I was like, "Okay." So I was actually in the process of filming my first television show that I wrote. And it was, remember I said, for every high, there's a low.
Mm-hmm.
I was at my high. I was like, everything is perfect. Everything is going great. Went in for my biopsy on December 17th. My doctor said, "We're going to give you a call next week." I was like, "Okay, great." Next week came, because the week after that, it was Christmas. Christmas came. I didn't hear anything. So I told my family, I was like, no news is good news, right? Well, the day after Christmas, on December 26, 2019, I was packing up, getting ready to leave work, and it was 4:59 p.m. My phone rang, and it was my doctor. And she asked me 3 questions. She said, "Are you alone? Are you sitting down? And can you talk?" And it was when she said those words, I knew where we were going. So she told me, she said, "I was going to let you know that, after we did your biopsy, we did find cancerous cells. And so I was diagnosed with breast cancer right in that moment." The very next month is when COVID came in. So I went through my breast cancer journey, not being able to be around family. My parents, my sisters. I had my family in the house, my husband and our children, but I didn't have that outside support. And initially, we were only going to do a lumpectomy. I missed my initial surgery date because of COVID. And I started praying. I was like, "God, I just don't know, what to do." And I had some really bad moments, really, really bad depressive moments, moments where, I just felt, I was talking to God, and I told him, I said, "I don't know what I did. What did I do so wrong to be plagued with this illness, this disease?" I felt contaminated. I felt ugly. I felt dirty. Ultimately, I made the decision to do a mastectomy. And thank God I did, because once they did the mastectomy, which was on June 3rd, 2020, they actually found another lump on the other side.
Mm.
And had I just done a lumpectomy, they would have never found it. And so I went through that. That was, my God, I don't wish that on people.
That's like this is like round 2.
Oh my God. It literally was like, I felt like I was dying. I had tubes coming all out of my body. I had to sleep in a lazy boy because I had to sit up, and, body is just deformed. And it was, but the interesting thing happened. One day I was, this was actually a week after my surgery, and I was in and out of sleep a little bit. And I just saw like these flashes before my eyes. I was like, "Okay, I know I ain't dying." But I saw this story flashing. And so I woke up. My husband said, "Pass me my laptop," and I started typing. This was a week after my surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 hours later, I ended up writing a children's book about breast cancer. Because going through my journey, I never spoke to my children about breast cancer. I just told them, "Oh, mommy's having issues with her boobs, and mommy has to go and get her boobs fixed."
Right.
So I never was able to verbalize breast cancer. And so I wrote this, and at the time, my daughters were staying with my sister. And I sent this over to her. I said, "I need you to write it," because she's a pediatric nurse. And I said, "Just read it for me. Let me know what you think." And so she called me crying on the phone. And she was like, "Where did you get this from?" I said, "Girl, I wrote it." I said, "I'm sitting here. I had nothing else to do, And she said, girl, she said, what are you going to call it? What are you going to do with it? I had no clue what I was going to do with it. And so I eventually turned it into a children's book called Pink Hope and the Hope Leaders. And it's about a beautiful brown-skinned superhero named Pink Hope. And she takes these children on this beautiful, magical journey to the Hope Factory and teaches them about breast cancer because one of the kids, his mom is dealing with breast cancer. And ultimately, she teaches them about breast cancer, but also teaches them to be hope leaders. And hope represents helping other people every day. And so she encourages them to be a hope leader to other people that are going through other versions of cancer and other versions of illnesses. And so that's how the book came out. So, although I went through a very interesting, challenging moment, what came from it was phenomenal, was miraculous, And I heard Steve Harvey say that pain always leaves the gift. And when I heard that, I was like, yep. And it did. All the pain that I went through.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Let's not stop that point right there. Tell everybody where they can find this beautiful book of yours.
So, Pink Hope, I actually have a copy of it right here. So, Pink Hope and the Hope Leaders. They can actually they can go to my website, www.iamtymika.com, and they can purchase it directly through me. I'll ship it out to them. Because of the size of the book, I wasn't able to get it printed through, traditional publishing companies. So I just sell them myself. Yep, they can send me a message on my website, and I'll get it shipped over to them.
There you go.
It's $14.99.
All right. We'll make sure that we put the link in the description so everybody can get that book, push it out. Now, The funny thing about this is like you asked your question, why do you felt like why me? Like we always ask ourselves, why me? What did we do? What did we do wrong? And then sometimes we didn't do anything wrong at all. You know what I mean? It's just something that happens to us. But why do you think that we always think that we messed up or we did something? Why do you think we think that way?
I think because in school we're taught, there's a consequence to everything, right? And so when we hear the word consequences, we automatically relate that to something negative happening. And so anytime something bad happens, it's like the first thing we do, okay, well, what did I do wrong? How did I get here? Because we're just kind of trained to believe that. But I think that when we start looking at it from a different angle, one of my friends told me, that when we go through things, we have to understand that this is something that God is trusting us with, right? And although it may be challenging, God is trusting you with this because He knows when you come out of it, you have a story to tell, or you're going to be a blessing to someone else, or you're going to encourage others. So I think it's changing the perspective of what we deal with versus looking at it from a negative standpoint. It's like, okay, yes, it hurts right now. No, I do not like it. I am very upset right now, and I'm slightly pissed off.
Yes.
But I know that it's only temporary. And I think when we start looking at things from the lens of temporary, then we understand, okay, I'm not going to I'm going to embrace this moment, but I'm also going to look at the future and see, okay, me 2 years from now, right? How am I going to do this moment, right? And so I think it's just really seeing it through a different perspective so you can understand that this is only a temporary moment.
I like that word you used, temporary. Yes. A lot of times we think, oh, my life's over, like little kids. Remember growing up? Oh, my life's over. That's it. Oh, I'm never going to find this person again or not my friend again. My life's over. That's it. Yeah. And then 2 months go by and then you totally forget everything.
They even exist.
Because the word you use, it was temporary. And what we have to understand is like things are going to happen, but it's temporary. You're going to have to just get up, dust yourself off, get to that line, jump again because it's temporary. So that's our word right now. We're just going to say it's just temporary. Greatness is there for us. Success is waiting. We're going to jump at it.
Absolutely.
So you told me earlier when I asked you, how do you start your day? You say you start your day with prayer. You wake up, you say a prayer. Then what is your 1-2 step after that?
After that, I look at the clock and I'm like, oh, snap, I'm late. And then I'm praying, Lord, let me be on time.
Oh my goodness. All right. So you're a 1 alarm, 2 alarm, 3 alarm, get up, get it going.
Yeah.
All right. So what project are you working on now?
So I am actually I have quite a few projects that I'm working on. I'm actually going to be going to Atlanta September to film and direct a short film that I wrote called Law and Disorder. And it's about two cops that are trying to relive their glory days. And it's a comedy. And so I'm super excited about that. But I'm also writing a leadership book for women called The Ways of the Lioness. And so that book will probably go on pre-sale mid-August. We're just about finished with it, sending it over to the editor. And so that's going to go up for pre-sale mid-August.
All
and
right.
then a couple other things, but those are the closest alligators to them.
There you go. All right. Let's have some fun before you go.
Now time for Pick 3.
Yes. It's now time for Pick 3. Before I let you go, you are going to pick 3 questions, and those are your last 3 questions I'm going to ask you before we let you go. So give me 3 numbers between 1 and 13, and those are ones I'm going to ask you.
8.
2 more?
7 and 13.
All right. First question, number 8.
Yes.
If you were in my shoes, what question I should have asked you that I didn't?
How old are you? Don't do it.
And the real answer is?
30 plus. No. Actually, I'll be 44 next week.
There you go. Look at you. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Number 7.
Yes.
What is one myth about your industry that you're going to squash right now?
That it's easy. It's not. I heard someone say, and I probably shouldn't even say this out loud, but I got a chance to meet the vice president of Nickelodeon, and had a chance to have a conversation with him. And he said, if you want to lose money, go into film. I was like, oh, snap, let me find something else to do. So, yeah.
It's not an easy industry at all.
No.
All right. Here's the one I'm going to just throw at you right now. I love this one for you. Past or present, who would you follow for 24 hours? Shadow them, walk around them, and why?
Dr. Miles Monroe. Dr. Miles Monroe was one of the most profound, prolific speakers, businessmen I've ever heard in my life. And till this day, I literally still listen to his videos, his audios, read his books. He possessed something that I have never seen in my life. And so if I could shadow one person, it would be him.
There you go. Well, listen, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show. I thank you so much for joining us. It was fun just to get to know you, and my listeners, I know they're going to get some nuggets from this. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your platform. This was a ton of fun. Listen, we got to come back. So just let me know, right? When you want me to come back.
There you go. We'll do that for sure. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. But here's a question. It's temporary. We heard it today. It is temporary. Whatever you're going through, don't let it set you back. Don't let it hold you back. You have greatness in you. Remember, temporary. Look it up in the dictionary what the definition of temporary means. And that's what it means to you. Take what it is, take the problems, throw them behind you, and move forward. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening. If you liked the show or have a comment, we would love to hear from you. Join our mailing list, and as always, check out our special deals links below. I hope this has inspired you to look at your life and jump. See you next week.
Hey, hope hope you had a great time listening to the show. If you think I did a great job, please buy me a coffee. I still got a lot of work to do. We would love to hear from you, your feedback, so please click the link and leave us a review. You can help us grow by following us on all social media platforms and sharing this link. Once again, it's time for you to jump. Success is waiting.